Welcome to Spiritual Changemakers, the podcast that guides you through tough times with practical tools and inspiring stories. I'm Andrea Thomas, your host and the Sacred Transitions Coach. Join us as we hear from spiritual changemakers who have connected with their higher power and overcame adversity. Whether you are navigating a difficult transition or seeking to deepen your spiritual practice, our podcast provides guidance to help you find magic in the change. Come on this journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation with us and unlock your potential to become your best self. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to a new podcast episode of Spiritual Changemakers. I'm so excited to have April Little today with us. She is an amazing woman that I got to meet being part of a mastermind. So we got the opportunity to meet several times in person to connect and vibe together. Yes, I would say we definitely have a lot of similar perspectives. And before we go into even what we are going to talk about, which is truly a revolution that April wants to bring on, what is coming and how the world is changing, I just want to introduce a little bit April so you know who you get to hear from today. And April Little is on a mission to start a revolution. And guess what? The rebellion has already begun. She's the author of the Me First Paradox, founder of the Women Wisdom Council, and the voice behind the Women Wisdom Revolution. April is a holistic coach, speaker, and entrepreneur who has spent decades helping women remember what they've always known, that their wisdom is innate, their authenticity is an act of rebellion, and putting themselves first is the most generous thing they can do. She is based in New Braunfels. I think I'm pronouncing it well. Not too far from me here right now in Austin. That's what I know. And she believes that the world doesn't need more women who have it together. It needs more women who are fully, unapologetically alive and in purpose. And she's currently putting together 12 women for a year-long transformational journey across the countries, because she knows firsthand that the most powerful thing a woman can do is just to stop running alone. You know, we are so used to it, to just do it all alone. So welcome, April. I am so excited to have you here. So before we dive into today's topic, I would love to hear, what does spirituality means to you?
That's been an interesting journey for me. I think, as a younger person, I was raised in religion. And so I thought that spirituality was religion. And it wasn't until I got to be an adult that I realized that they're completely separate things. And now I think I still am fully on a spirituality journey. So I don't have a answer. I don't know that we'll ever really, like, for me, everything is always evolving, always, like there's always another level. And so I don't know that I'll ever have a full, complete understanding. But for me right now, spirituality is really like leaning into my own spirit, into my own intuition, and also into the divinity within me and connecting myself to the divine. So however that happens, some people that's through their own creativity. All of us have intuition. I was reading something that a woman wrote the other day about how she really has the ability to sort of channel. And I was like, we all have that ability.
Yes.
Like, it's just that so many of us have it really well blocked,
Yeah.
And so I think, all of that comes into my understanding of spirituality at this point, but I hope that it just continues to just evolve and evolve and evolve.
Yes, this is just part of being a human being. No, we are like on this constant evolution.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm so excited to have today's conversation with you about women, about the revolution, because I've also have been on this path of how do we get as women to create from our magic,
Yeah.
not from like these bro marketers that
Right.
they're amazing, you know, and I'm not sharing this to say that they are bad or what they do is bad. No,
Right.
they are amazing and it absolutely works in so many different ways. But what I do know for us as women specifically, when we are deeply connected, when we are in our essence, in our feminine, it's almost as going against our nature when we
Yes.
try to build as a man.
Yes. Absolutely. And I have really experienced that because for the first several years of my business, I mean, I was listening to all of the kind of, the advice that's out there.
Mhm.
I even hired coaches,
Yep,
and they were all teaching basically the same thing. And I thought, well, this must be the way to do it.
yep.
And I tried it and it was just not successful. And I was like, following things to the letter and doing things exactly as they were doing them. But the fact is that I am not them.
Yep.
And, the further that I've gotten into my own work and things like that, the more, and one of my favorite things to study, honestly, is myself. Like, the more that I get to know about myself, I'm always fascinated. I'm never not fascinated.
Mm.
I just did my Enneagram the other day. I'm sure I've done it before, but I just did it again the other day. And I was like, yay, more information about me, right? And so when you have this information about yourself that comes from your own personal experiences with yourself, but also through, doing these kinds of things and finding out who you are, your Enneagram personality tests, they're really interesting and helpful. Um, my human design was one of the things for me that was the most liberating and the most
Mm.
eye-opening in terms of things like marketing, right? I found that my gut is my authority. And so now I literally don't speak unless my gut says that's what you want to
Go for
do.
it.
Like, I used to think I needed to post so many times a day and I needed to do this and I needed to show up this way because that was the kind of the wisdom that was out there at the time. And once I found out more about myself personally and started leaning more into that, the response is 10 times what it was when I was trying to do things someone else's way.
Yes, I love that so much because what I hear, you got more connected with what is true, real, and authentic to you, which when you
Correct.
operate from that place, now when you go outside and it's like, this is where I'm creating for, then the world responds to that.
Exactly. It becomes completely magnetic. Yes.
Yes, and that's how we are here to create as women. No, we are
Yes.
magnets, and at the same time, I would love for us to go into because the subject of today is the revolution, and I would love to hear even what have sparked this, what have made you come to this vision and this movement, and I was like, I want to create a revolution around this.
It's again such a great question. And it's so interesting. I was just telling someone this the other day. The really huge pivotal moments in my life, I can't really explain where they came from. Like if I try to go back and tell the story, I'm like, I, I can't remember. You know what I mean? Like, and I've met people that way too, where people will say, well, how did you meet them? And I'm like, I can't remember how we're connected. You know what I mean? Like how we first connected. And I think some of that's just the magic of, how things
Mhm.
happen when you're in alignment. But I guess the kind of very short version of the story is that there was a time not that long ago, actually, it was just a few years ago, where I had completely written women off. I was done. I had been really wounded by women. They had tried to destroy me. And it was such a terrible kind of experience that I just wanted nothing to do with them anymore. I was done. And I thought, I have my family, my husband, who's like my best friend, and I'm good. I'm good. I don't need women in my life. And then I had a vision, which I really believe in visioning. And so I future vision every so often just to kind of like to decide what I'm going to do next with my life, right?
Mm.
Because my soul knows things that I don't really know yet. And so I really tap into my soul for those visions. And so I was visioning around this time, kind of trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be and all that kind of thing. And in my vision, I saw women, and they were in my home, and they were beautiful. I could just feel their spirit, and like how high vibe that they were, and how there was
Mm.
no fear of like gossip or anything silly like that going on, and that there was so much love between them and love for me. And I was like, I literally was pissed. I was so mad because I had just decided no more women, you know?
Oh.
And but you know, again, I have a belief that my soul knows things that I don't know. And so I knew from that vision that women were meant to be a part of my life, and that they were going to be really important in my life. And that propelled me to getting back out into the world of women. And when I did, I realized I love women. Like,
Yeah.
we are so powerful. And this all happened in conjunction with my own work, right? Like, I'm continuing to work and work and work and work on myself. And so I'm also evolving in my understanding and my just like overarching love for humanity and all these things is like also evolving at the same time. And so I was like, shoot, I really actually really love women, but I do think that there's some things we need to change. And I know from my experience that the things that really need to change in the world of women are that women need to love themselves more, and as they love themselves more, they will be better at loving everyone else, just same as
Mhm.
I did and am. And also women need to learn how to love each other better. So
Yeah.
that's really what the revolution is about.
Yes, I 100% agree. Being on this journey for so many years, and I was just having a conversation last night with a younger girl that I see her as my younger sister. You know, it's like, oh, my younger version of myself.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was speaking with her, and we were talking how she's having all of these complexes, you know, about her physiques, and then showing up and sharing her gifts. And this is literally what I shared with her. I was like, it starts with loving yourself more,
Yes.
with like accepting so much, like your the way you look, the gifts that you have to bring into the world. Because how God made us, no, how the divine made us, it's perfect. Like, we couldn't be
Yeah.
any other way.
Yeah.
So when we question our gifts, when we question how we look, it's like doubting the divine.
It really is. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. All things for purpose. Every single thing. You know what I mean? Like, every hair on your head is there for a reason, exactly the way that it is, you know? And so, and that certainly goes for things like your personality and your gifts and things like that. And especially the things that you're actually born with, that are innate to you
Mhm.
and that are specifically unique to you. I think that people don't really stop and think, but every single individual here on this earth, if they were living in their actual authenticity, if they were living in their unique gifts and their talents, this world would be like a completely different place. In fact, I think it would be a perfect world. Like, if
Yes.
everyone were living like that, that's what would happen. Because then you're happy, then you're whole, then you're complete, you're fulfilled. You know what I mean? And you're operating in this beautiful genius, whatever that is. And I really believe that each individual person's genius has two amazingly beautiful sides to it. One, it helps you become who you are meant to be. It helps you reach your own personal potential. And two, it helps the world reach its potential, and it helps the world, right?
Mm,
And
yes.
so if people were really operating like that, I mean, we wouldn't have a lot of problems. We'd probably have no problems. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, I know that that's very utopian, view, but the closer we can get, right? The more people that are living like that, the better and better and better the world will be.
Yeah. So I would love for us to share with the audience, like, what has helped you, April, first, to get to that place of loving yourself more? Because it's easy, no, to just go out there and be like, just love yourself more. But
Oh,
someone
yeah.
that has never
Harder to
done
do.
that, it's like,
Yeah.
how do I do that? How do I even start on that journey?
Yeah. And actually, not to shamelessly plug my book, but that is what my book, that's why I wrote my book, is for women who are starting there where you're talking about and really just need something practical, a guide, right? But maybe don't want to hire a coach or can't afford to hire a coach or whatever, because everyone deserves to have this information. It doesn't need to be expensive, right? And so my book is written in a way that it's not just information, but it's also a lot of exercises. It's a lot of deep work. It's actually transformational if you do the work inside of it. What I would say too is I think one of the first steps to self-love, because that is a really big thing and it's a very far off thing for some people, or they feel
Mm-hmm.
that it is. I think one of the first steps that we can take to self-love is compassion, to treat ourselves like we would treat a child, to love ourselves like we would love even an animal. Some of us don't even love ourselves the way that we would love a dog. You know what I mean? Even a street
Yeah.
dog. But like the compassion that we feel in our hearts for other things and other people, we need to apply that to our own selves. And I also really have such a strong belief in self-care. And I believe that who you care for, you grow to love. And
Hmm.
so I think the more that you give yourself care, the more that you will fall in love with yourself.
Okay, but let's stop there with the care, because that care, I think a lot of people and women, when we say self-care, they think about, okay, spa and nails and
Right.
makeup, you know?
Yes.
But what
Not
is
that.
that and I love it too. And we know that
So
that
do
can
I.
also just stay at the surface level, no?
Very much.
So
Yes.
so what is that deeper care that someone can start doing to be like, okay, I'm really taking care of myself, not just of the physiques, but of my
Right.
inner world as well?
Yeah. So I teach a 4 bodies kind of method, which is you have a physical body, you have a spiritual body, you have an emotional body, and you have a mental body, right? And all 4 parts of you need caring for. And as you mentioned, doing things like, spa days and things like that. Listen, that's really great, but that really is for when you've learned to care for yourself at a much more basic level first. And then those things feel like self care, because then at that point, you're so whole and you're so cared for that something like a spa day actually feels like care, self care. if
Mm-hmm.
you if you go the other way around, if you start with spa days, it's exactly what you said. It's very superficial. It really, I mean, it's going to feel good and it's going to help maybe relax your body or something for a short period of time, and maybe even your mind for a short period of time, but that does not last. That's not really what self-care is. When I talk about self-care, I'm talking about going really, really deep and really caring individually for each of those 4 bodies. And so, what is your mental state like? Is there something that you could do to enhance your mental health care? What would that be? And I am such a proponent of like the highly achievable goal. It makes me really sad when people set really, really large goals or try to create really big habits and then they fail, because it just enforces that they're a failure, they can't do it,
Yeah.
all these things. And so I'm such a big proponent of the highly achievable goal. So it would be something that you could set for yourself that would be literally so, so easy that you almost can't fail. It would be something like, every day I'm going to be thankful for 3 things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude is magic. And it really, really, truly is. Not false gratitude, but real gratitude.
Like,
Such
feel
a
it.
magical tool. Yes, such a magical tool, and can massively change your emotional and your mental health. So it could be something that simple. For your physical health, it could be like for some of us, it would be like eating 3 meals a day. You know what I mean? Some people, some of us women, we are not eating properly. We are not sleeping properly. It's the most basic things. So if you're not eating and sleeping properly and then you go visit a spa,
Yeah.
that's not going to help, you know? So you have to start with kind of the more molecular things, the
Mhm.
smaller things, the more kind of mundane daily things, and then you work your way up from there. And the whole idea is just to make you feel more healthy, more whole, and more cared for. So whatever that is that makes you feel that, and to not rely on other people to provide that for you.
Mm.
Because I think, again, that's another thing that I think we all do. I know I have done it, I mean, badly at times. You know, when I was young, married, I used to think that my husband should provide a lot of my emotional safety for me,
Yes.
or, you know, that. And so therefore, if he was, you know, if he didn't provide a certain thing for me, if he didn't behave a certain way, then I couldn't feel a certain way. And
Mhm.
so, you know, we have to separate ourselves from other people in that sense and find the thing that we need inside of ourselves. That's the me first paradox. It all comes from inside of you first, and then you're able to give it to the world.
Yeah, and that in itself, it's so huge because I think so many times we wait, especially when it comes to our relationships and our partners, we wait for our partner to be everything and fulfill all of our needs.
Yeah. Been
And
there. Yep.
I just remember like so many years ago, I had this revelation where I was so mad that my partner at the time, he didn't want to go hiking. And I was like, keep telling him, I'm like, I really want to go hiking. Like, let's go, let's do it. And he's like, no, like my job is like, I'm standing all day long. That's not what I need in the weekend. So I need
Yeah.
to rest. And it was opposite than what I needed because I was sitting and I'm
Right.
like, I need movement. And I remember I just had like this moment where I'm like, okay, he's not gonna do it. How about I'm just gonna go on my own?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why am
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
just waiting for him
Yeah.
to do something with me that he doesn't
Right.
even want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I just decided, and I remember that summer, I went hiking every single week by myself, and I had a blast.
Yes.
It's like just going and dating yourself now as well and
Yeah.
learning how to enjoy your own company, because I think that's one of
Yes.
the reasons why so many women, I don't know, probably men as well, but so many people don't just do things on their own because they don't fully enjoy their own company.
Right. But how are you ever going to learn to if you never are just around yourself? You will
Yes.
never learn. You know what I mean? And I think that more people would actually enjoy their own company and enjoy that like quiet, silent time just with being with themselves if they tried it. But so many of us, I think that terrifies a lot of people. And
Yeah,
also, we're so conditioned that, you know, like we have a partner or a friend or whatever, and that those people, you know, that we should be around them all the time, and that that's what happiness looks like, or that that's what companionship looks like. But you can be your own companion. It's really
hmm,
fun. And you get to do whatever you want when you do that.
yeah,
No one has to say yes. No one has to agree. It's lovely.
yeah. Yeah. So, did we cover all four pillars that you're mentioning? So we covered the physical. Did we
So it'd be
covered all
physical,
four?
emotional, mental, and spiritual.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned
I
the
mean,
mental.
yes
How
and
about
no. I
the
mean,
spiritual?
something that you can do for your spirituality is, meditation is amazing. Again, that's something that's going to improve multiple areas of your life. So it may be that if you can meditate for 15 minutes a day, it would, believe it or not, that will change your entire life. That will change the
I
trajectory of your
agree.
day. And if your days are different, then your life is different, right? And not only that, but it also changes your mental state and your emotional state. And so there's a lot of things that you can do that really improve multiple areas of your life. And I'm very much in favor of microdosed self-care, because I know that most women don't have hours to spend on
Yeah.
self-care. And so, but can you fit in 15 minutes of meditation at the beginning of the day or in the middle of the day at your lunch hour? Can you fit in a gratitude just as you're driving? Can you find something as you're driving to be grateful
Mm.
for? You know what I mean? So just microdose those things into your life, just one little thing at a time, just a couple of minutes at a time. You would not believe how impactful these kind of small practices really are.
Yes. And what I want to add with this is also for people to know, and those that are listening, that it's not that you are just going to do these practices and then you're gonna like you do them for a while, then you put them on the side, but you're like, why it's not working? It's like a maintenance, no, that we constantly have, like we get to do
Yes.
the same as we shower our physical
Yes.
body to clean it and take care
Right.
of it.
Yep.
The same, all of the other three areas that you
Right.
mentioned, they need the maintenance. Now they need a gap.
Yes. So it's like you can't just brush your teeth for a week and be like, cool, I have healthy teeth now. You know what I mean? Like that's not, and it's not like that with anything else either. Really nothing else that I can even think of is just
But
like
people
set it
have
and
this
forget it.
conception,
It's
no?
just not like that.
Wouldn't you say that people have this conception? I know I used to have it as well with personal development and healing, that I've done this session or I've done this exercise and so on. Why am I not fully healed? Why do I still
Yeah.
have to go back to the same
Yeah.
shit?
Yeah,
What?
me.
Something is
And
wrong.
yeah, I feel like I know a lot about, and I've done this for many years, and even just kind of recently, I would say this was probably about 4 to 6 months ago. I had this thing where money came up for me again, and I was like, "What is going on?" I thought I had tackled that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It never stops. It is a forever thing. And it's a beautiful thing. Like that in itself, like the fact that you can just continue and continue and continue and continue to level up and evolve and
Mm,
learn and grow is like one of my absolute favorite things about being a human being or being a soul. Cause I think that's a soul thing. I think that's a forever thing, you know?
yeah.
But yes, there's never going to be a time in any area of your life where you're going to just be able to do something and then arrive and then there
Mm,
you are.
yes.
You have to just keep on with, and it's a practice. Everything is a practice, and that means that you're never going to be perfect, and that's okay. But everything should be practiced, and it should be practiced like every single day. It
Hmm.
has to become a part of your. It really has to become a part of yourself,
It's a
right?
lifestyle, no, that you get to
Right.
create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
you begin to embody all of that, and then it's not that it's hard. It's not that you're going to have to work at it, but it will always be a thing, you know?
yes. Yes. And I remember, no, when I started 10 years ago on this journey, that like doing even a 10-minute meditation felt like painful. Like it felt so much and so hard. And now after 10 years, I'm like, oh my God, I can do practices for like 3-4 hours easily,
Hours.
just like
Yeah.
working on
Yep.
myself. So
Yep.
going on the other spectrum.
Yeah. And it is like so many things. It's just like if you were going to play the piano, you don't like play the piano for a week and be like, oh, cool, I'm a pianist. You know what I mean? Like, and even I have a very good friend who is like, she got a master's degree in what do you call it? Piano performance and performance.
Mm,
And that was 20 years ago, and she still practices every single day,
wow,
right? Because she will lose her gift if she does not practice it. And it is
that's
literally
it.
the same, like I said, with I think just about everything. I can't really think of anything where you can just be like, okay, now I'm here, and I will just be able to keep this thing forever. Relationships are not like that. Your relationship with yourself is not like that. You have
Hmm.
to nurture that thing always
Yeah,
if you want to keep it.
yeah. And it's really about falling in love with the journey, instead of
Yes.
trying to just constantly
Get to a place.
arrive somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like I know one of my mentors was saying that it's this beautiful, like growth and evolution that we have over a lifetime.
Yes.
And just falling in love with that.
Yeah. And I think too that for me, because women ask me a lot about, especially my skincare, and I would love to tell them, but I'm like, honestly, my skincare is intuitive. Like I practice intuitive skincare at this point. So I actually like kind of look at my face and I ask my face, like, what do you need today? What do you want today? Like, what is the need? You know what I mean? And then I meet the need. And you will really get to that point with all things self-care. Like you really, as you get to know yourself more and more about yourself, you are able to fill whatever need that you have. So
Yeah.
whatever that is that day. Like my mom just recently passed away, and so I was walking with her through the end of her life journey. And so every day I had to be really conscious and aware of like what it is that I needed so that I could fill myself so that I could show up for her and my siblings. Right. And it's different every day. It's not, again, you don't ever arrive. And what I could do last week, or what I could do at the end of the year before my mom got her diagnosis and feel filled, was not the same as it was after the diagnosis, right? Like every year, as you change, as you evolve, as life happens, as things happen in life, like your needs will change, and you need to just be aware of yourself and to meet the needs that you have. That is really what self-care is.
Yes, that's why I'm the person who, like, I'm changing the tools that I use, for my growth, for my routines. I'm
Yeah.
like, they are just keep
Yeah.
changing. Like one day I'm gonna dance, one day I'm gonna do my yoga shambhavi
Exactly.
thing. One day, I'm just gonna journal. It's like it's so different every day. And I had to
Yep.
release this idea that, oh no, I should be consistent with one practice every single day, because if not, I'm not doing it right and it's not gonna work.
Interesting. Yeah. And it really, honestly, genuinely is the opposite. It's like, be consistent in your care,
Yes,
but be open to it being whatever it is that day,
exactly.
because
Like
it will definitely
release,
change.
yeah, like release the attachment to the how you are going to take care of yourself, no, but
Exactly.
focus on the thing itself of like, make sure you take care of yourself however you need. It doesn't matter the avenue, the tool.
Exactly.
The goal is to take care of yourself. How? It's gonna vary day by
It'll
day, moment
change.
by moment.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is so amazing. So now I would love for us to go to the second part, because you said the first one for the revolution is to really learn how to love and take care of ourselves, which we have been
Yep.
speaking about here. And the second part, you said, is truly how do we get to have a better relationship with other women? How do we get to support more other women, instead of, I would say, the old world is more of the masculine, where the women are also in competition. There is a lot of gossip. There was a lot of gossip,
Yes.
sisterhood wounds, betraying, cheating,
Yes.
scarcity, where it's like, oh, if you win, that means I cannot win.
Yes. So I believe that there are only two real beliefs that we need to hold to let go of all of that. Again, this sounds really simple. It is harder to actually achieve, but it's definitely achievable. And I think those two beliefs are that nothing that is for me will ever belong to anyone else. Like nothing that is for me will pass me by. Nothing that is for me, can anyone take from me.
Let's go deeper into this. So,
Yeah.
how do we approach this? How do we live by this? How do we embody this? That nothing that it is for me can pass me.
That is a really great question, and it is a lot of work. And that is what I'm saying. Like these sound very simplistic, and they are simple, but they are not easy, right, to achieve. And I
So
just
give me an
think,
example.
it's a practice of like observing and being
Mm-hmm.
convinced, you know what I mean? And accepting and repeating that, you know, all of our beliefs are just repeated thoughts. That's all it
Yes.
is. But we have programming that we most likely came up with or that we learned over a period of time. Like you were just saying, like maybe we've been burned enough times that now our programming says women are not nice, women are my competition, right? But if you start to repeat instead this belief that no one will ever have something that belongs to me. Like if it's for me, then she won't have it. No one else will ever have it. It will always be for me, right? And if I don't have it, that means it's not for me. And the acceptance of those things, like actually being in full acceptance of that and really believing that, and then starting to take note of things that prove that point will completely shift your belief over time. But it does take time. Like it's just one of those things with
Mm-hmm.
all things, they just take time and they take practice. It's a practice. But
Yeah.
I do think that's one of the core beliefs of like just letting go of all of this competition, you know?
This belief that nothing that is for me will pass by me. I want to see how do we approach it, especially in our interaction with other women, because
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear from you, April. Like, what are some of the things that you have experienced throughout your life? Because you mentioned even before we started the recording of this podcast that you're like, I had a period where I said, no more women in my life. Like, I'm
I did.
closing off to that. I'm shutting women off. And I think there are a lot of women who have been wounded and they do that. No, and then they just close themselves off. So first I want to hear what does that do when we close ourselves off to other women? How is that affecting us, like in the world? And then what has happened for you that you got to that point, and how were you able to overcome it? Because I think a lot of women that are going to listen to this, they have still a lot of sisterhood wound.
100%. I call them women wins. Yeah. I think honestly, women wins are a universal experience of womanhood. You know what I mean? Like we've all been wounded by women. And frankly, we've probably all wounded women.
Yeah,
It is a universal experience, something that holds us all together and makes us all similar, in a, way that it's like the club you don't want to join, but you're all part of. For me, it, there was a lot to it. I was involved in a really large network of women that were in my same industry. And then I also within that large network, I had a smaller group that was like a mastermind group who became like my sisters. They were just like, to me, they were like sisters. To me, we spent we spent time in person together. They were from all over the country. And so we spent time together in person every quarter and we spoke almost daily, or chatted, texted or whatever almost daily. We were each other's support in business and also in life. Like it was just, we were very close. And also within this larger network of women, again, I'm thinking I'm in the safest place there is to be. Like it's women. Yay! And
hmm,
I have four sisters. And so I grew up, as a woman among women. And I also have three daughters. And so, like, to me, women were safe until they weren't. And
yeah,
they proved themselves to not be safe during this period of time where, and believe me, I've had other individual, one-offs where it's like one woman, but not ever like a
a
huge
group.
amount of women kind of at the same time, and especially not my entire group of friends. And so some things happened within my business, and there was some chaos and some tumultuous things. And as a result of all of that, the larger network that I was in became a very, very toxic place for me,
Hmm.
to the point where I had women who were actually actively trying to destroy my reputation, my whole life, certainly my business.
Wow.
And then my very, very tight, close group of girlfriends basically like booted me out. They abandoned me at my time of
Mm.
need. And at that point, I was like, I'm done. I will never want women in my life again. It's just too painful, because
Mhm.
I love pretty hard. Like that's just how I am. And so I thought it's just safer not to love them. You know what I mean? It's just a lot safer that way. And so that was the decision that I made. And I had my beautiful family and myself who I love. And like,
Mhm.
I was good. And then I do a visioning exercise every so often in my life so that I can see forward into what I need to be becoming or working on. Or, yeah, so I was doing a visioning exercise one day, kind of in the midst of all of this, trying to figure out, like, what do I do next? What do I need to see that I'm not seeing right now? And I was in my beautiful dream home, and which I was thrilled about. And I, could see my beautiful backyard. The back of my dream home opens up all the way, like all glass doors that fold to the sides, and so it was this big, beautiful vision of my beautiful backyard, sparkling pool, cafe lights strung up, and it was late in the evening. And then I was super shocked to hear women's voices and women's
Mhm.
laughter. And immediately, like, tears stung my eyes. Like, I was pissed off. I was really mad. I did not want that. And I had just decided we were never doing this again. And then my vision showed me something completely different. And because I truly believe that those visions come from my soul and from, uh, collapsed timeline that I don't
Mm.
yet see, I knew that although I wanted nothing to do with women, my soul knew different. My
Mm.
soul felt differently. And my
Yes.
soul knew that these women would be very important to me in my life and that they would be a source of safety and of truth
Mhm.
and of, the most beautiful things there are in the whole world were sitting, there on my back porch laughing and being, I could feel the vibe, the very, very high vibe. They were engaged in, talking about really high vibe things, not about other women, right?
Yes.
And so that's what changed me, honestly. Like, I think I would have gone maybe the rest of my life without women in my life, and it would have been a really, really sad thing because I really, honestly, in my soul of souls, I do really believe that women are the most beautiful things in the world. Women will change the world. Women
Yeah.
have incredible power and incredible wisdom. And, it wasn't until I was able to, you know, lick my wounds a little bit and then lean into, like, okay, let's get back into the world of women, that I really saw women for what they are. And like,
Mhm.
and even myself, you know what I mean? Because I am also a woman. So if all
Yeah.
those things were true of other women, they had to be true on some level of myself too. And so, yeah, I think at that point I was able to really see the wisdom, the
Mm.
innate beauty, the unbelievable potential for change that is in the world of women. And yeah, that vision completely changed my life. But it did take me, like, I didn't, jump up and like get excited. I was
Immediately.
really mad
Yeah.
for a little while. And then, but knowing where that comes from, I was like, okay, I got to do
Mm.
this, and I did. I just like very, very tenderly moved out into the world of women here
Yeah.
locally. And it has been like, it has just been the most amazing journey
Mm.
because that was literally only about 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
Wow.
3.5 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy
Wow.
that, and the expansion and the acceleration of growth for me personally and professionally has been insane, but I had
Mm.
to embrace something that I thought I was
Mm.
done with.
Yeah. So I heard you saying a few things there, April, is that when you received that vision, you got mad, but instead of rejecting it, no, you said, okay, I'm leaning in, but I'm not jumping in. I'm
Right.
leaning in. And then slowly you were able to take that compassion that
Yes.
you were being like cultivating towards yourself and bring out into the world for these other women to be like, wait, like they're just a mirror of something that's also is within myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yeah.
if we don't like it, even if we're like,
Yeah.
no, I am not like that at all.
And I talk about those women now with like so much love. Like I so appreciate everything that they did for me and everything that they were to me at that time. And
Mhm.
honestly, I appreciate the wounds because without them, I
Yeah,
would not be right here right now, you know?
exactly. Yeah. And what I would love to also hear is like how is affecting us as women when we choose our wounds. Yeah. When we choose the wounds, when we choose the separation, when we choose to like reinforce that over and over, how is that affecting us as women? Yeah. Like just going out and about in the world with the sisterhood wounds. How is affecting us on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we think it's protective and it feels protective, right? Like, and that's exactly what I thought too. Like, I thought, I'm just going to sit here and protect myself. Like, it's just not worth it. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact is, it's incredibly limiting. It's incredibly limiting. We will never be able to become all that we are meant to be alone. And that has
Yes.
been a long lesson journey for me. Like, I have lone wolfed it even after
Yeah.
all of this. I'm like, okay, I love women. I want to support women, but I'm still going to hold them at a little bit of a distance. Like, I don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
want to collaborate. I'm just going to, you know what I mean? So there was still sort of like a little bit of distance. And I just realized it's a silly word to use, but I just like kind of came to this just in the last maybe 6 or 8 months that I'm like, you know what? This isn't working all that well. Like, it's not working as well as it
Mm-hmm.
could. And I see other women out there doing the most amazing things. And I want them to be part of my orbit. I want to be part of their orbit. Like, I want to be around women who are doing amazing things. And I don't just want to be like
Yes.
around them. I want to be like within, you know, the same orbit. Like, I
And
want
one
us
of
all to
them.
orbit together.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
become one of
Yes.
them, no?
Yes, exactly. Not stand here and be like, okay, let me teach you, or stand here and be like, let me be taught. You know what I mean? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
want to be part of all of that. I want us all to be part of it together because I know the potential that lies within that shared frequency. Because it's
Yes.
different. Like, you can raise your frequency as high, as high, as high, as high can be. And I do not care how high that is. When you get in a room with other people with that kind of frequency, it's higher than you could ever reach by yourself. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted. And I knew that meant that I had to let yet another kind of guard down, break
Mm-hmm.
another barrier for myself and for, like, to help teach other women that as well. Like,
Yeah.
we have to be able to celebrate other women's wins. That's huge. And that's something that we really struggle with. I know I have very much struggled with that in my life at
Mm.
times. Like, instead of the jealousy, instead of the competition, collaboration and celebration, like, how different would that look, you know? And also, I've done this thing too before many times in my life where, okay, yeah, I can celebrate you as long as it's something that I believe in too, or as long as you and
Yeah.
I share,
So true.
similar thought processes or whatever. And I have really trained myself into celebrating all women as much as possible, no matter what. And I mean, it's still a work in
Mm-hmm.
progress. It will, again, probably always be a work in progress. But like, now, it doesn't matter if we agree. I don't care. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's neither here nor there. Actually, that's a whole different thing. But like, yeah, I want to celebrate when you have something to celebrate. When it's important to you, it's important to me. You know what I mean? And so, if we can just do that more as a global sisterhood, if we can just celebrate each
Yes.
other more, if we can celebrate
Mm.
ourselves more, this is how the world will change. We'll bring more
Mm.
softness, more wisdom, more love, more peace into the world,
Yeah.
just naturally being our best selves and celebrating each other for whatever that looks like.
So as you are hearing this, no matter if you are a man or a woman, just if you are a woman, please just go out there and find another woman to celebrate right now. If you're a
Yes,
man, you choose, find another man, another woman, just find someone to celebrate right now in this moment, as these conversations are meant to take what has resonated with you and just go and be that out into the world. They are not meant to just listen to them and just like, okay, just pass through another thing and so on. It's like, okay, how can I take what I have been hearing in this past almost 1 hour right now and start becoming that, start being that, start implementing that in your life, because that's how change is created.
absolutely. And Andrea, can I tell you how I learned this? So I had to fake it until I made it. So what I actually learned this from watching other women celebrate women. And when that was happening, so this was around the same time that I was talking about earlier, where, well, right before all of that. And so I was in this huge network of women, and we were all basically doing this, and we were all in the same industry. And so at first, my feelings were like, why is she more ahead of me? What is she doing that I'm not doing? There was a lot of like comparison, a lot, and a little competition, and a little jealousy in me. And so, but I would see these other women celebrating with these women that were having these accomplishments in their businesses. And I just started to mimic them. I knew I wanted to be
Mm.
more like that. And so I just kind of started to mimic them and and no one can see what your face is doing when you're typing on the computer. So even if my face was like, like I would be typing, I'm so happy for you. That's so exciting. And it didn't take very long at all before I started really feeling that.
Mm.
I started to feel, I am so happy. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Like that's so exciting. And so my actual emotions started to really match the things that I was saying. And again, it's a brain trick. It's just a brain trick. Your brain believes whatever you tell it on
Yes,
repeat. And
yes.
so I just kept telling it. I was thrilled for these other women. And before I even knew what happened, I was absolutely thrilled for other women every
Mm.
time. And there was the competition just melted away. That jealousy was gone. Like it was magic. And it has carried through, all these years for me. And it just keeps growing. It just keeps growing and growing. And the more I tell my brain that this is all true, the more that it's like, it is all true. And let's find more and more and more evidence for that.
More
Right.
evidence. Yes.
So yeah, it's been a beautiful journey, but I
Mm.
had to literally mimic other people that I saw doing it to
Okay.
learn and to like convince myself that that's who I was.
Hmm. Yes, thank you for sharing that, as I'm sure many, many people are gonna be inspired to be like, okay, I can do it. And maybe at the beginning it's not gonna feel good, it's not gonna feel right,
Right.
but I can do
Exactly.
it, and eventually the more I do it, it's gonna become part of me. And
Absolutely.
I'm eventually going to be able to feel it as well and not just say it. So I love
Yeah.
that. Oh my gosh, April, this has been such an amazing conversation. I had so much fun talking to you all about how do we go and create this revolution. And please
Yeah.
tell people where are you spending most of your time, and of course I'm going to add all of your socials in the show notes, but where are you spending most of your time and how do they get in touch with you the fastest and the easiest?
Yeah. So the fastest way probably is to just join my Facebook group, which is the Woman Wisdom Revolution. We have a great little group over there. It's starting to grow, and that is where you will literally learn the tools and techniques and be able to practice. Almost every single day there's a practice in there that will guide you into these things that we just talked about, both self-love and the love of other women. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
the place to practice those things. Especially if you are like I was and you just need to mimic for a while, or you just need to see how this is done or what the benefits can be. That is the place to do that. That's the best place to probably find me and to start.
Beautiful. I will add link in the show notes. And please reach out to April. Thank you so much for coming, for sharing all of your wisdom with all of us. I'm looking forward to stay connected and to see where this revolution it is going to unfold.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me on today, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of spiritual changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self, and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.